Okay, so in this video, we're now going towards the end of this tutorial series. So for this, we'll be looking at game states. So the game states will be created in the game manager. So you can open the game manager. Remember, the game manager should be the script that handles most of the game logic. So in this case, it's the best place to put the game states. Now you might be thinking, what are game states? So a state in a game can be thought of like a condition. In what condition is the game? Okay, there could be several conditions. So for example, if you're playing, then the state is playing. It means the gameplay code is running. Maybe you might be initializing the game. The game is just starting up. So meaning you're loading the resources needed to play the game. Maybe the game might be paused. You're not playing, so we need to freeze the game. So we essentially pause it. So we can have a paused game, or maybe the game has come to an end. Maybe the player has won, or maybe they've lost, and so the game has come to an end. So in what state is the game? So in that case, in what condition is the game at that point? So we need to define these game states. They help to manage the state of the game in terms of just how it flows. So first things first, what we shall do is we'll just define them. In fact, in this tutorial we won't do much. Let's first of all just create the states that we might need. So say enum game state. You can see I'm creating the enum on top before the game manager class itself. Inside it, we'll create three states. So game state initialize, so init, then game state playing, okay, then game state end, okay, comma at the end. So these three I think will be enough to be able to show the idea of game states and to show how we can implement it in this engine. So the init or the initialize, this one here, so this one will be used to show the game menu. It's the one where the user will be able to see the instructions about the game, the title of the game, and they can click the play button to start playing. When they click the play button, the state will then change to GS playing. So in GS playing, we have to hide the menu, remove the button from the screen, the instructions, and then in this state the player can actually move the character around and play according to the gameplay logic that we've written. Then the end state, so the game state end, this is when the player has either gone through all the 50 steps, or maybe they've failed to complete the game, so they've fallen, and so the game comes to an end. So this will again show the start menu. So this one will show the start menu, and this one will also show the start menu when the state comes to an end. I think those three can easily be comprehended in terms of creating this game. Right, so what we shall do is we shall first of all, so we've created these game states in the game manager. We will also modify the player script, the player controller that we created. So this player controller is the one that's attached to the cube, the one that's actually playing. Okay, so just scroll to our start. So initially the way we wrote it was, the moment the game loads, we listen for input. We listen for input. Does the player click the mouse button or not, right? So in this case, what we shall do is we will disable this because the state of the game will first of all be on initialization, right? On initialization. So we will not start off from the point of view of playing. When the menu is on, if the user clicks the left or right mouse button, we should not move the character because we're not yet playing. So the initial state should not be listening to the mouse input. So I've just commented this line that listens for the mouse input. Then we can create a function. So this is going to be a separate function, one that will be checking where we are. Okay, so we'll say set input active. Then this is going to be a boolean. So active full colon boolean. Okay, then we would be checking if active is true. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit. So it should be what, Windows Shift plus. Okay, I think this should be clearer. Okay, so if active is true, then we can have the code, this one here. So paste it. So that's the case. Otherwise, if active is not true, we'll then switch it off. Okay, pretty much the same. Okay, so what we want is when the player when the game is in the initialization state, the player should not be able to move whether we press the left or right mouse button. So we can't be listening for the event initially. But later on, when the game state changes to playing, then we will activate the listening, so that when the mouse button is pressed left or right, the player can then move. So that's really what we want to do. So this function is there. We'll be passing in some value from the game manager and then passing on that value. If true, we'll switch on. If not true, we will switch off. Okay. I think, what did I just do? Okay, so what we can then go on to do is, in the game manager, we'll make a reference to the other script, to this player controller script, because what we want is to be sending information from this. This is the one that knows which state we're in, but this is the one that can switch on the ability to listen to input. So inside here, okay, maybe after the cube prefab, okay, so we'll say reference to the player controller. Okay, so here we'll create a property. Then the type will be player controller. Okay, so like that. Then make it public player control type player controller now equals now. Okay, so this is that's the reference. So what we want is to be able to access this script, but from the game manager perspective. In addition to that, we will add another property that makes reference to the start menu. So the type will be node public start menu, type node on now equals now. Okay, so this one just references the start menu. So I'll put a comment here. Okay, so now once this is done, the game manager will have two slots that will be open, that we can then drag the nodes that have this onto those two open slots. So we can go to the inspector. So click on the game manager itself. Okay, so you'll see that, okay, we'll have okay, just wait. Okay, they've loaded. So you see that we have the player controller, okay, and the start menu here. So we just have to drag them, okay, drag the player, the whole player. Okay, where's my player? So this player, so remember the player is the one that has the player controller script. So by dragging the player, okay, on the player controller, it will actually be able to collect the script. Okay, so then we can also drag the start menu, so the whole start menu, not the children. So we drag it under the start menu section. Then we can save this. Okay, we can save this. So by doing that, we're able to reference the scripts. Okay, so we can from the game manager, we can work with the player controller, and we can also work with the start menu. Okay, so I think for this one, this is perhaps where we shall end. Don't want the video to be too long, and then in the next video we'll then write the code that changes the state.